Okay, we'll move on very quickly. Call this meeting to order. Quorum is met for the Full Education Committee. We're going to look at the Representative Stovall's bill. It's 490225S, which we'll be looking at as amended by the committee. So I believe the terminology is committee as a committee sub. And while it's fresh on your mind, Representative Stovall, would you like to make any further comments?
No, I appreciate the subcommittee being so patient and allowing for full vetting of the bill. And I appreciate Chairman Chokus' comments as well.
Yeah, I know you and Chairman Chokus have been working very hard for the last probably week trying to find a good space to be in this, and I appreciate y'all's cooperativeness, absolutely. So any questions for Representative Stovall from the committee? I see a couple lights blinking. 14.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm glad I made it to the subcommittee, and no, I did not vote.
I was watching. So I got my sheet right here.
See. Representative, I tried to follow along, but you got that Second Amendment. I'm not really understanding what that does to the bill where we went from 3 to 2. Could you help me understand?
Yeah,
that?
so you want just about the number of consecutive days, not the other part. You understood about the school teachers and all, everything. So the original bill, the first amendment that was introduced, first substitute that was introduced, just had it where the lines 65 through 68 would have been day 1 and day 2, which means that once the student performers on the set, then the responsibility is not on the school teacher for the day 1 and day 2. That was the compromise that we came to. And then the second amendment or substitute that was offered by Chairman Chokus now says that you can have day 1 where where it's just the parents, guardian, studio teacher, child labor coordinator, employee unit is responsible for the coordinating for 1. It's not mandated, but they are responsible for coordinating. The change from 3 to 2 is now starting on day 2 is now a requirement where there has to be them having a studio teacher or employee unit or child laborer now has to reach out to all those different school districts, making sure coordinating with that. And that was the issue why I didn't agree with it, because it was day 2 and it should have just been 3 days or more, because that means they were going to be there longer.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. 29.
Thank you, Chairman. Representative, so does the bill now, I know you say you worked on it with the attorney, Beth Moore, 4 days. Is the bill hitting the mark that you were trying to get as amended? Or?
No.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all the questions for Representative. We need to make a motion. What's the will of the committee?
I'd like to offer an amendment.
You would like to offer it? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to offer an amendment from on line 69.
Yeah, it's at the proper time.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
we'll-
the proper time,
yeah,
Mr.
we'll-
Chairman.
We've got 14.
He said 14.
14?
Oh, no, I lit up after she wanted to make her amendment. I'll turn the light off. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, so we've got LC 490225S as amended by the committee. It's a committee sub. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to pass.
The motion do pass. Have a second? Okay. Now we can move to discussion.
At the proper time, I'd like to make
Proper
an
time,
amendment.
you have an amendment.
Yes. I would like to offer the amendment on line 69 to, instead of 2, to go back to 3.
Can we have a motion and a second? Any discussion? Number 26. Chokus.
I would like to remove consecutive. If they want to go to 3 days, then let's take out consecutive, because they could be performing one day. All
Mr.
3 days?
Representative Chokus, that would be a separate amendment.
Okay,
We're
thank you.
discussing the 3 at this moment. Okay, any discussion on the 3? Okay, all those in favor of changing on line 69 from 2 to 3, in favor of changing, raise your hand.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Those opposed, likewise.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The measure passes. It's now 3. Okay, Representative Chokus, you had a.
I'd like to scratch consecutive from line 69.
Representative Stovall, do you have a comment on the consecutive?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure you do, but just go ahead. Just go ahead. Pardon?
There's not been a second.
Oh. Yep. Chairman Chokus, Vice Chairman Chokus, on line 69, strike the word consecutive. Is there a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor, we have a second. All those in favor of striking the word consecutive from line 69, please raise your hand.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And those opposed, please raise your hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. So the measure fails. Okay, so now we're at the motion. I've got, that's more a question from 14.
I'd like to move a do pass on, call to question.
Okay, I'll ask for that. Yeah, we're there. We're just at discussion. Any more questions from the committee? Okay, all those in favor of passing the bill as amended by the committee, so by saying, just raise your hand in favor.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Those opposed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, the measure passes.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Representative Glanton. Okay, those who are in the subcommittee are familiar with this bill. We just talked about it. If I get in this bill you've had, you can take a glance at it. Representative Glanton, if you give the full committee just the 2-minute rundown of what this bill does, and we'll see if there's any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. I promise you I won't be as brief as my colleague, but sir. Won't be as brief? That's exactly right. Okay, I'll be more brief. Okay, at any rate, I bring to you, committee, House Bill 1106, LC 490198. And because this bill was just heard in the subcommittee, I won't go through the entire bill. But I will say that the Whole Child Model School Certification Program is a program that's already been implemented by the Department of Education, and the coordinator for this program is Ms. Ashley Harris for the department. This basically it compels the schools and the districts to comply with the policies that are sent down by the Department of Education and the State Board of Education to make sure that they're meeting the requirements for certification of this program. For those of you who do not know, this is basically wraparound services. This is bringing an opportunity for the student, the teacher, the administrators, the community, nonprofits in the community, business partners in the community, civic organizations, similar and nonprofits similar to communities in schools. Basically, the intent of this is to, from a state perspective, to help the school improvement plans at the school district level. So these folks are going to be brought together to decide together what's the best course of action to make every student successful outside of the classroom as well as inside the classroom. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll answer any questions and I ask your favor consideration.
Thank you. Questions? Representative Carter.
I just wanted to say at the appropriate time, I'd like to offer a due pass.
I'll always ask before. Okay, any other questions from the committee? Yeah, I just always do. That's why I was taught. Okay, no other questions for Representative Glanton. So we're looking for a motion. Got a motion do pass by Carter. A second? Second. All those in favor of this bill moving 490198 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? This bill passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the committee.
For the two of you that passed these bills, remember you need to go to the rules office tomorrow morning and get a form, fill it out, and then you have to bring it to my office and have me sign it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for letting me be more brief.
And I believe that the comment is you owe somebody a meal right now, I believe. Meeting adjourned.